Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Developers. My guest today is Dávid Lévai. He has been a full-stack web developer for quite a while. He has done a lot of freelancing. He built his own agency. He's mentoring other developers on obviously software development topics, but also giving advice about how to freelance and how to start and build a career as a software developer. He's very much also into topics around low code and no code and everything about modern web development, especially also on the front end part. So welcome, David. Hello, David. How are you?
Hey, Sid. Nice to be here again. I'm doing pretty fine. It's right now 9 a.m. for me, so it's an unusual time.
You're in Mexico, right?
Exactly, Mexico City right now.
Wonderful. So just for the people to know, like David is joining us from Mexico. So thanks for taking the time for getting up early. Although 9 a.m. it should be still fine, right?
It's so much better it's so much better than how we wanted to do the previous one. I messed up something with the time zones, and we ended up scheduling the call for 6 a.m. for me.
Yeah, I was thinking it's pretty early because you have to, get up at around 5 or 5:30, get yourself done, and then join it. But I was thinking maybe you're a morning person, so.
Okay, yes, I am. I'm actually a morning person, but still, I try to use my mornings for myself, like going to the gym or just trying to negotiate myself out of the bed or something like this. And I still taking call so early, like before 9, even if I'm up since 5 or 6, it's still not okay.
Yeah, okay. David, you have been 2 times a speaker at our events on very technical topics in software development. And I thought it's a good idea to invite you to Coffee with Developers because I think that there is a lot of things you could share with the community, also with people who are maybe thinking about progressing in the career in software development or doing freelancing and so on. So I thought let's have a chat with you. So I'm very pleased that you took some time to join us. But before we start with the more technical and career-related questions, because this session is called Coffee with Developers, tell me, are you a coffee drinker or not?
Coffee. Most of the times, coffee. Or sometimes I'm switching up with a sugar-free Red Bull. Okay. Right now I'm here with an Americano. This is the one people are usually drink in Mexico, at least what I've seen. People here are drinking Americano all day.
Okay, interesting to know. Good to know. So when you go to Mexico, then Americano is the type of coffee to go. Okay, David, like you are not a usual software developer. Like you didn't have a classical IT education or so on. You have studied business administration, I think, and management. And but when did you develop your passion for technology and software development? Like how did you end up doing coding stuff?
I think the first time when I saw a computer, that was around when I've been 9 years old or something like this, so pretty early in my life. And those were, I'm not sure if Commodore 64 was the first one or that was the second one I've seen, and the first one was some kind of XT computer. So when I saw a computer, obviously it was fascinating to see what can they do, and with Commodore you had to write those codes to start up your games, etc. Then later on, when we've had regularly computers in our house and in our friends, etc., my father started actually with HTML and JavaScript to build websites. That was in the middle of the 2000s, so something like 2005 or something like this. Then I liked what he did and started learning it for myself. So I've actually created my first websites for Need for Speed fan pages. I really like those Need for Speed games at that time. Yeah, and I've built a couple of web pages like this. Then I started editing them, like writing actual articles and news about the new Need for Speed games. So that's how I started.
Okay. Then, and what age have you been that time?
Around 12-ish.
Okay.
10.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, 10 to 12.
Okay, but then you still like didn't go in a technical education, like studying software engineering or so?
I wanted to go to study software engineering, but I've always been bad at math. I always been bad at mathematics, so and I was scared that I couldn't do programming because I don't know math and stuff like this. So I ended up taking economics informatics class in a college or a university, and I've dropped out after a year or something like this.
Okay.
Not because of math at that time. So the interesting thing is the only really close thing to mathematics was statistics, and I did that pretty well. But I just dropped out because at that time I was already starting out as a freelancer, building WordPress websites and other small web pages.
So you already made some money out of that.
Exactly, not so much, but a little bit. It was enough to cover my basic expenses while I've studied at university. Yeah,
to start somewhere. But that's quite interesting in our generation that many of us kind of had the first touch with technology, obviously through games, and also some of the first software or some of the first technical stuff that we implemented has something to do with games, even if we didn't program games. But let's say you made a website. Because last week I had a session with Stefan Baumgartner, and he had the same. Like he was really like going to a college for software engineering, computer science, and he also started. He didn't start right away with web development because he said like at that point it wasn't the case for a career or for making money out of it. Like at that point, software engineering was more like, hey, you do like real software, enterprise applications or embedded stuff and so on and so on. Especially over here in Europe where you have like all the industrial software, like in the automotive industry and so on, where you write assembler code or like, let's say, some let's call it like not web sites and web applications like back in the 2000s and in the 90s. And he said that his first website or his first like move to the web development world was when he built a community site for also some games. And then he got a call from Nintendo. And that's actually when he kind of made the switch to see, okay, there is a market out there and let's go more to the web development stuff, and not the classical software engineering. So I had to think about that because it's quite similar with you. It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But what Need for Speed? What editions did you play?
At that time, I think I wrote most of the articles about the Underground 2, Most Wanted Carbon, Pro Street, etc. So that was the middle of 2000s. But my all-time favorite was the Porsche Unleashed, the one Need for Speed with just Porsches.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it was that one, but I played one on the old PlayStation, on the PlayStation 1. I played Need for Speed Porsche, and it was really just Porsches, and you had like test driving and so on. That was really cool with a cool mechanics and damage model, everything.
Yeah, I think that was that's still one of the best ones till today.
That's good. Then okay, let's get back to your career. So you went to college, then you studied informatics, economics, informatics. Then
exactly. Then I dropped out.
Development.
Exactly, and then I've started a boot camp because I felt like it's good that I can do some WordPress development and some websites, but I wanted to do more. So at that time, I knew HTML, CSS, JavaScript, a little bit of PHP needed for WordPress plugins, mostly. Then I started this school called Code Cool. And the interesting thing, I was at the first semester of Code Cool. So we've been the really first ones, the,
So that's
the
around
alpha test.
2014 or so? Could that be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
And yeah, at that time I knew enough programming to just learn a little bit of more technical stuff. Like we've been into a couple of months for Python, then Java. I've never used those, but I've learned a lot of soft skills, like working on a team. Because at that time I was only working by myself as a freelancer, so I didn't have any idea how to work with a team. Then I've learned their version control, like Git. I've learned how to communicate with others better, how to present, etc. So it was more soft skills oriented for me. And it kind of gave me a head start to really go into the business of IT.
Okay, because then you ended actually up being a full stack developer for quite a while.
Exactly.
At a job, you have been employed like as a normal employee, not as a freelancer. Yeah.
For a not so long time, I've still kept my freelancing business while I've been employed. I've been employed 2 different employers for 8 months each or 9 months each, and that was all of my employee career.
Okay, good. So you are definitely on the freelancer path. Okay, yeah. That's good. And like, would you say that software development or programming languages and all of these things, tools, are for you just like, I mean, there's a lot of developers who had the classical education or who are self-taught and who really love coding and doing software development just because of the sake of doing it. But for you, I think it is also kind of just a tool to build a successful career. Am I right?
Exactly. At first, I started by really liking that I can develop something from the zero. I can build something, and I like this. It's really fascinating today too. But yeah, as you said, now I feel like that software development is just a tool to build something. It's not the end goal.
Yeah, because I also see that you have like a lot of interests in marketing and business development. You've started your own agency and so on. So I really like building a career actually, and just use the different skill sets that you basically learn on the way while doing projects, which also is kind of interesting because I saw like that your technical knowledge got deeper and deeper from year to year. So you've done some Node.js stuff as well, I saw.
Yeah.
So and how would you say, like, how steep was the learning curve for you? Or was it easy for you to learn new things and to implement them?
I think in the software world, there's something we call the like aha moment, when you spend a lot of time learning and trying to figure out what's going on, trying to study in different places, and you feel that you still don't get it. But there's gonna be one time when you get that aha moment, when you feel like, okay, now I get it and I can do it. And for me to reach this, if we count from only my formal education, so from 2013, it was 3 or 4 years to get to this moment. Until then, I did stuff. but I've never felt like that I knew what I'm doing.
Yeah,
It still
so
happens
just
today.
get the things done and copy
Exactly.
paste from everywhere, and yeah, learn a bit of
Exactly.
PHP to fix this plugin, and just that it works and doesn't break.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think I know a lot of people, and I wouldn't exclude myself as well here, because it was also my kind of first steps. Like I did started a computer science at college. I didn't finish it, but I had some technical education here in Austria before that. So really learned software development, assembler, Java, many programming languages, all the concepts behind that. But back then in the 2000s, you didn't really learn about web development. So for me, I think I did then had the same path as you all also did, like starting with WordPress, learning with PHP, fixing stuff. And you're right, there is this aha moment when you start also realizing, okay, how to make your path through all of this, and then you get more and more professional with stuff. And yeah.
Also, I think most of the times people run into the Dunning-Kruger effect with this. So when you start to learn something new, then pretty easily, pretty fast, you can think that, oh, I knew everything about this topic, and at that point, you know nothing about that topic.
Yeah.
You just feel like you know everything, and there's gonna be a couple of more problems to do. There's gonna be a couple of more issues to solve, just to see that you really don't know anything about that topic. And a great example about this is JavaScript. When you start using JavaScript to modify the DOM, to interact with websites and browsers, and you can create some animations, you can create buttons and interactions and reactions on this. You could think that, oh, I knew everything, I knew JavaScript very well. Then then you learn for 3 more
not
weeks.
that much.
Exactly. You run into hoisting and closures, and you're just sitting there that, oh, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, and I mean, like, interesting, because like 10 years, 15 years ago, you didn't have so many options, right? Like, I mean, you had JavaScript, and you had at some point like asynchronous JavaScript and Ajax calls, and you had jQuery as a library, for example.
Exactly.
Was pretty nice.
And the good old
site
jQuery, Ajax, ASP.
And today you don't know where to start, like with all the libraries, with the frameworks, with different approaches. It's just crazy, and that is something that I kind of really respect, when people are not just on one stack, and if they look at software development really as something that should solve a problem, or that should get the project done. And it doesn't always matter what exactly do you use, especially for small projects. I mean, when we talk about enterprise software and the big scalable web application, then it's something different. But for most of the cases, especially when you work as an agency, building websites, e-commerce shops, whatever, there's so many cool tools and so many ways to solve it. Just get the one that is most comfortable for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. When I'm building stuff for myself, it's always a fight inside of me that I want to learn something new and try out some new libraries or new frameworks or anything, or I just want to build something to release it to the public, and just build it with some technology I already knew and push it out, because that's a big difference. If I already knew a technology, I can build a small scale stuff in a weekend or in a week or something like this. But if I want to learn something new, it could happen that it won't work, and I spend a whole year by just rewriting it every time.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one presentation of you where you were pretty much into no code and low code. What's your take on that? Is still like good tools to get things done on some scale?
Exactly, as you said, it's great tools to get things done. I've experimented with dozens of no-code tools already for mobile apps, for web apps, for websites, or for just pieces of the development process. And what I found out is there are lots of no-code tools. Most of them are not usable because too many people are trying to create no-code tools right now. But there's that 1% of them that are extremely great, and you can build a whole, for example, a whole membership system with paid regular subscriptions over a weekend. For example, Webflow is pretty great for this, or Bubble to build web applications. And I feel that in the near future, to build just these kind of regular, less complex things.
You mean the stuff that you and I got paid for 10 or 15 years ago?
Exactly. So and the big difference here is obviously the client's money. So if a client wants me to develop I don't know, an MVP for a membership system with different user roles, with monthly payments, card acceptance, notifications, emails, comment system, video uploading, etc. They are going to pay a lot for this. But if they just want someone to build it with Webflow or another no-code tool, they are going to pay significantly less, and it's still going to be a pretty awesome MVP. It's still going to be usable, and some companies, I think they build whole companies with just no-code tools. I can't remember right now, but there's a newsletter feedback company or something like this, who build their whole stack with no code, and they are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they are built fully on no code.
That's interesting. And do you think also that I mean, it's still in the beginning, and obviously you have services that make sense and services that maybe only make sense for very specific cases, but do you think this is also something that will enable like a lot of people who are not who are not software developers to kind of get into some kind of product development or make the first steps in software development from this side? Because at some point, at least nowadays, you still need to know a bit about how to code if you really want to get the project done neatly, if you want it to scale. And because I think one of the restrictions of many of these no-code tools, at some point, there is like an end. There is something you need to work, but it just isn't offered by the tool. But maybe when people can still make the first step into this direction, and then they get curious, and they try it out, and then they do the first lines of code, and then they see the beauty of it, and then they kind of move into this direction. Do you think that could be one trend also?
Exactly. That's why I like always talking with you, because you have so many great insights about all of these topics. So I think yes, no-code tools really help people to make it simpler to join into the software development, to lean into it.
Also like people like for marketing, for example, like we do have some landing pages built with with Webflow.
Exactly.
And like it's people from our marketing department who never did anything are now using the designer, and getting a bit into HTML, CSS. I know that's not programming, but it's the first steps, and then then do some JavaScript code and so on, and then you basically produce new developers. I know that many of you out there will now say, hey, that's not really software development, but for some it is, and you have to start somewhere.
Exactly. For example, for my girlfriend, she's a social media strategist, and she started teaching others how to be better social media strategists, how to start their social media manager careers. And TikTok marketing, etc. So we've been thinking about building an online cohort-based course platform for her, but obviously, if she doesn't know how to code, I don't have time, and I don't want to code a whole
I
new
can feel
solution
that.
for this.
The parents, hey, I need a website for this. The friends, hey, I
Exactly,
would like to do this. Could you make me a website? Yeah, but
exactly.
when?
And the fascinating thing is how we ended up. So
Yeah.
she did everything by herself. I only had when she really needed some tech support and don't wanted to reach out to the tool support because I've been there. But she built a landing page with card, payment system with Stripe, and the cohort-based course system with Google Education or Google School, or they call it something like this.
And did she like it? Did she like the process of
Exactly.
building this thing? So maybe
Exactly. She liked it,
moving
how to
from.
build it. It was it was interesting, and it was easy for her to build it. Again, she doesn't know how to code. She built it kind of easily, and the only expenses she has is card yearly payments, which couple of bucks. I mean, that's not even $100, I think, and the Stripe transaction fee, but only pays that if she's got any transactions, and that's it. So
It makes
if
not only the life of these people easier, it makes also the life of software developers easier, because we don't have
exactly
to
exactly
try to help everyone with some websites. Okay, that's good. Enough about no code and low code. I think it's a trend that will still be there for many years, and also no developer will lose its job because of that, because someone needs to also build these tools, right?
exactly.
So but tell me, what are you currently up? I mean, you are traveling around the world currently. You are now in Mexico. You're visiting the US. Is it for fun or for business? Or?
Exactly. I've started digital nomad lifestyle. I really wanted to do this for a long time right now, and now I actually started it. I don't have nothing. I have my backpack and my stuff on in that backpack, and that's it. I've sold
And your
everything
girlfriend
else.
is also with you, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We are doing this together. We've been in Portugal and Mexico. This is our second country. Then we're going to go to the US. That's going to be business oriented too, because I'm a co-owner of a US based software development agency. So there's going to be some business on that trip too. But usually it's just like we try to work while try to see the world.
Try to have a work life.
Yeah,
like a work-life balance, just a life. You try to have a life and earn some money on the way while you have a life. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah, exactly. And we're still pretty new in this field. There are so many people who are doing this for tens of years, like they're living like this. It's really interesting, and it could be hard sometimes. But let's see. Let's do a recap when we've spent at least 6 to 12 months like this, and then I can tell you a lot of experience. I hope.
And as you said, you're co-owner of an agency. I think it's also a web development agency. What do your colleagues and your employees think about that?
We've always been remote first, so there's no office anywhere in the world right now, and most of my colleagues are either from the US or from Hungary or from Portugal. There are a couple of people everywhere in the world. It's not as easy. I mean,
but you're not that. You're around 20 people, I think, or 25, something like that.
Yeah, 20 close people and a couple dozens of developers in the developer pool.
Okay, and how does communication there work? Like how can someone imagine that? Like if you are in different time zones and so on, and
We're
very
trying
loosely.
to rely on asynchronous communication. I've
Mhm.
actually written a really long communication policy just because of this, just to have these rules and advices aligned and policies how to communicate asynchronously. My main inspiration point was Basecamp's communication
Mhm.
policy. They are a fully remote company too. And what we try to do is rely on Slack, email, Loom, if we want to send quick videos. And we have these policies like Slack is for direct messaging, and if you want answer faster, like in Slack, you should wait for an answer in 12 hours or not
Yeah.
more than 24. Email is for longer form communication. You don't expect an answer in less than 3 days, etc.
It's not rocket science, right? Like, but
Yeah,
the funny thing is now with the outbreak of the pandemic 2 years ago, when companies went remote, I mean, we also had our experience before that with remote employees and so on. So it was not too new for us, but we saw many struggling with it and with like the basics. For example, when you say asynchronous communication, it's like a basic if you have remote people or if you have home office people or so, just because some people maybe have kids at home, maybe they need to do something, they have different time schedules,
exactly.
and then you cannot expect that someone, you write a message on Slack, you cannot expect to get an answer in a second, even
Yeah,
if
and
it's a messaging tool. But
so many
that's
people are doing this. So many people expect answers in an hour, and if you don't answer them in an hour, they're gonna ask you an email or they're gonna call you, and they even do this sometimes on the weekends. And remote work could be really toxic if you don't have a great process and a great policy to handle this communication stuff. What we're trying
yeah.
to do is really telling people that expecting an immediate answer is extremely toxic. Don't do that. Again, if you want to communicate on the weekend, feel free, send a message, but don't expect an answer before the next work day. And so many people are still trying to find times to do calls, and that's interesting. People are spending more time with trying to schedule a call and
Instead of
doing
just
a
calling.
call instead of just sending a message. If they
Yeah.
send a message in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or even 30 minutes, it's still less time than scheduling a call, inviting 4 people, and from those 4, 2 don't even need it.
Yeah, but I think it's habit. It's a lot of processes and so on. Let's
Exactly.
let's let's see where we are heading to in terms of communication in the future. But the digital nomad lifestyle, that's quite interesting. I know some people doing that, and it's not that easy. Like not just traveling, but also the whole arranging. Also like internet. I mean, in our business,
Oh
internet
yeah.
connection is super important. How is it there in Mexico at your places? Was it
Uh,
proper?
We've had a luck with finding places until now.
Mm.
In Portugal, we've been in a pretty cool Airbnb. The host was great, the internet was cool, the place was awesome. So it was great. In Mexico, we are traveling and in every place on the same hostel. So it's called Salina, and it's kind of a co-living style hostel. They have co-working places, they have
Okay.
usable internet, etc. So that's what we are doing right now in Mexico. But again, it's going to be completely different in the
I'm not
US.
aware right now, but maybe it could be a no-code or low-code project for you. Like, all these travel portals and the Airbnb and so on, they always state like, okay, this hotel or this apartment, they have internet connection or not, Wi-Fi, whatever. And then you come there and then it's just bad. Isn't there like a
Oh yeah,
kind of a travel portal or a
yeah,
map where you can have kind of, yes, this is the apartment and hotel, and where you have kind of, hey, this is how good the internet is based
yep.
on the reviews or whatever. And maybe I'm totally out of my mind, because maybe there is already something like that, but I just don't know about it.
Yeah, I've seen something previously. It was a Chrome extension. I can't remember the name, but there's a Chrome extension what does something similar to this.
Okay. Especially like over here in Europe, you are from Europe, you know it, like, or especially in Germany, in German hotels, it's really a mess. Like internet in German hotels, if you visited these places, it's like, it's really not good. Okay, but I mean, you just started your digital nomad lifestyle, so I would be happy to recap, let's say, in 6 months or in 12 months how it went.
Cool.
I will not ask too much right now. Maybe you're writing a blog or something, or
right now I'm in the process of updating the whole identity and design of my blog and other resources, and I've started putting out digital nomad content to my blog, and really want to lean back into doing my YouTube, but I'm just procrastinating that. Also my TikTok. These are all the platforms I'm trying to do right now, and
start better with one, and then when you get the habit to do it, then start the next.
Yeah, the great thing with YouTube and the written blog is most of the times a written blog can be a great starting point for a YouTube video script. But again, TikTok is a completely different platform.
Content.
Yeah.
TikTok maybe not our generation anymore.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's an excuse, but it's maybe a good excuse.
yeah, maybe it's the great thing with TikTok is I think that's the best platform right now if you want to try out new things faster, because you can shoot your shots. You can upload even 3 videos a day in completely different topics for 2 months, and then you can shoot 60 then 2 months, that's 61 days, and 61 times 3 videos. Then at that point you've had more than 200 opportunities to get in front of someone's eyes with different content. I mean, almost 200 opportunities.
Yeah, I see you're interested in really a lot of things, like basically about how to build something and how to market these things. Very interesting. But the agency, is it in your main focus right now, or are you also having other projects?
Agency, it's a great question, and that's something I want to clean up in myself right now, because yes, as the agency was the main thing I focused in the last 5 years or so. But it's hard to scale. It involves too many people management, and right now it's a decision point with software development agencies on what to do and where to go, because of what we talked with no code previously. So the agency building and agency scaling is hard, and I feel that it's not as profitable as trying to build something else.
Because I mean, you have these two directions. Either you build like a big thing, then you need to cover all topics, like a full service, or you specialize in a niche. But what is the niche?
Exactly. It's so hard nowadays to find a great niche, or to be really unique in the software agency world, because it's easy to start a software agency now. It's hard to be really unique, and it's hard to be better than the 99%.
What is your vision then? Do you know like what do you want to do? Like do you want to? You can also just say like you want to have a good life and earn some money, travel around the world.
No, absolutely. I feel so much better when I help other people. So that's why I started working on the other side, that I'm helping other developers in intermediate or advanced levels.
Right?
Exactly, with
And you have
mentoring.
also been on Udacity, or was it Udemy? I'm not sure.
I did mentoring on Udacity for I think a year or something, and there I helped new developers by learning the basics of programming, and I liked that. But I felt that there's so many people who can help with this to others, so I just don't want to be the N+1 people who help someone to learn programming. But I found out that most of my programmer friends or a lot of coders on the internet, they don't have any idea about marketing or business or how to be freelancers when they are not building just websites. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, mentoring other devs and putting out free content. And later on the road, I want to do some courses too to help intermediate or advanced level developers to start their own business. And by business, it doesn't matter if it's freelancing, if it's a small business agency, if it's an indie development business. In general, I'm talking about business.
Okay, yeah, but that's interesting. So that's something you're going to focus a bit on.
Yeah, that's gonna be my main focus from the next year.
Okay, curious to see what will happen there. Maybe if you want to give some advice to let's say young people outside who maybe just started their career, who want to start freelancing, who want to start with web development and so on. Maybe some mistakes also that you did, or what would you have done differently, and some advice on how to improve faster and better.
What I think I kind of messed up previously is I haven't been consistent with putting out something on the internet. So by putting out what did you learn today, what are you building currently, how are you doing that, and why are you doing that? It doesn't matter which platform. It could be Twitter, it could be Instagram, it could be TikTok. It doesn't matter at that point. If you just taking notes, putting these out, that's going to skyrocket later your career. Either way, either if you want to be an employee or an employer, it's going to skyrocket your career because by taking notes, one, you're repeating what you've learned. Two, you always have something to refer back later on when you have a problem with that similar thing later. And also putting out yourself in front of so many people forces you to to be more careful with what you're doing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And also putting out yourself, HR people are gonna see that, recruiters gonna see that.
Yeah. You never know who can see that.
Exactly.
As I said with Stefan last week, like Nintendo calling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For a developer learning marketing or sales or copywriting, that would really make someone a superman. I mean, at that point, you know how to develop something and you know how to sell something at the same time.
Yeah, you increase your value because you have, you build some expertise and some thought leadership in different areas, and then you connect things. And I mean, always between the connections there lies some opportunities, and
exactly.
That's a good advice that you give. And I mean, actually. That's one thing that developers, all of us actually, don't do enough. Like if you see, for example, in the marketing industry, the marketing people, the sales guys, and so on, they always celebrate themselves for whatever, for doing deals for doing marketing stuff. They don't really build something; they sell something that is existing. both of them. Like no disrespect, I'm into marketing. I do see myself also as a marketing and a sales guy and everything. But the developers, they really build something, and they celebrate themselves way too less. And only recently, in recent years, it has become more, like more a thing to go to conferences. Meetups are growing, the communities are growing, and that's really interesting to see. And I also see that like many people who basically started locally organizing meetups or just going to meetups, so many opportunities arise, and also take the chance to speak up, to present some topic somewhere at a meetup, at a conference, in a podcast, whatever. Like I think it cannot hurt. It can just become better, and that's something that really every software developer should kind of think about.
That's marketing is really a superpower for developers.
Absolutely. So just being able to see the bigger pictures, because often we as developers, we also in my, like when I was like working full-time as a developer, I often didn't, you often get some tasks or you get a project or whatever where you think, doesn't really make sense doing it that way. Why is that? And so on. You always have to ask these questions because there is some reason, also the other people, nobody is an idiot for doing something on purpose in a way where you say like, hey, why doesn't it make sense? There is some thought behind, and even if it still doesn't make sense, but you understand like why is the decision made that way, it kind of, you develop some empathy for other people, and it makes it easier also to communicate and to work together with other people, and that really skyrockets the career. That's I think the case.
Yeah, I agree.
That's good. Thanks. Okay. I mean, we are quite over time already. Maybe for the end, like, how do you said you are doing like a lot of, you go to the gym and so on. How do you, it's kind of a stupid question if I ask, how do you get your work-life balance right, and what do you do in your spare time? Because actually you are right now like combining work and life together in this new lifestyle. But still, like, what is some kind of stuff that you do to get away from work?
That's one thing. Gym. I try to go to the gym regularly. When I've been at home, I was powerlifting actually. Now since I'm traveling and it's not obvious where there's going to be a gym or not, I can do powerlifting, but still I trying to go to the gym wherever it's available. That's one thing. Other thing, I'm watching so many YouTube videos. That's my that's my guilty pleasure. I watch everything, from geography to space studies to gaming to meme videos, like kind of everything. But also, since we're traveling, we want to see what's going on around us, like not just the usual touristy places, but we want to see how the locals live. That's what I'm trying to do right now to recharge. And also, there's a small time zone window where I can call my family at home. And that's one more thing to recharge. There's a 2-hour window when I'm not working, they are not working, but they are still awake. And then I try to call one family member every other day or something.
No, that's good. That's very nice of you. Good. Then, David, is there anything else you want to share before we say goodbye?
Well, I think the key from this session for anyone could be learn marketing for development, learn some business, because that's gonna make you so much freedom and money in the future. Or if you won't use it, still you learn something interesting.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for that. David, you have been a wonderful guest, and I'm sure that this is not the last time we have talked. We will see you at our events again, and we will also repeat this session, but just at a later point, so that we see how is digital nomad lifestyle working out for you, and then we will talk more about that topic. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a nice time in Mexico and then in the US. I expect some pictures on your social media to see how it's going, and have a nice holidays and a good new year.
Thank you so much. Have a great new year and happy holidays for everyone.
Thanks, bye.